Well, good evening, gang, and welcome to It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams, and I'm your host. We're coming to you live from our beautiful studios here down in Eggleston Square, and you're more than welcome to join us if you'd like. We're at 617-708-3290. The great staff of BNN with Dave and the gang are in the other room answering phones. So if you'd like to join us, please give us a call. Let us know what's going on artfully in your community, what kind of things are happening in the arts in your life. We'd love to know about it. Give us a call, please. We're going to take a couple of minutes here. Listen, gang, I want to congratulations to the gang out in Rosendale for open studios a couple of last weekend. We missed last Monday, but last weekend, the first weekend in November, we've been getting some numbers back as far as what kind of things happened out there in Rosendale, and we are breaking all kinds of records for attendance and for the kind of sales people have been celebrating. So I want to say thank you to everybody out there. Everybody's had a chance to defrag a little bit and get back into their regular frame of life. The committee, I want to thank them personally because they've done a great job and really made this event the kind of event that I've always wanted it to be. We're talking thousands and thousands of people coming to Rosendale and to view art from 115 artists and 45 locations. So, congratulations. It was a lot of fun. I had a blast. Everybody had a blast. And this will be probably the last time we talk about it this year, until we start planning it again in 4 months. So, and then we'll get right back into it. A couple of things that have been going on artfully, of course. I want to remind everybody that we are going to be having the holiday stroll coming up very, very soon in Rosendale Village. And on December 8th, we'll be playing at the Rosendale branch of the Boston Public Library. We're actually going to be doing a 60s thing. Now, I don't know how I could possibly know songs from the 60s, but we're doing all of our old Beatles stuff, and the guys from Low Budget Record, Tim Casey, Bird Mancini, Andy Hollinger, all those cats, Terry Kitchen and stuff. We're going to be getting together and doing a lot of our stuff off of our 60s album that we did when we paid tribute to the Beatles. And so we'll be doing a live show down there December 8th, which is very, very kind of, because that is John Lennon's anniversary of his assassination. And it'll be an emotional night for us, and because of our connection and our being so dedicated to the music of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So anyways, I'm going to take a couple of minutes to talk just a little bit about why we're here and what we're doing. It's All About Arts is an organization that is associated with a couple of things. One of them is the Rosendale Arts Alliance. The Rosendale Arts Alliance is an organization of artists in Rosendale who help to promote art, to bring art to the community, to educate. We also have an educational point of view and aspect in our operation. We curate different businesses in Rosendale where we bring artists in there to show their work. We also get involved in a lot of seniors activities. I actually go up and I teach a seniors class up at Sheraton Grove up in West Roxbury. I want to say hello to all my friends up there. I stop in there every Wednesday or so, every couple of Wednesdays, and we do an art project. But I think one of the things that I've discovered and learned is that we also have becoming friends, and we get to kind of hang out together. We also put on a little Christmas concert up there. We also work with Main Street's program down in Rosendale Square and other Main Streets, bringing art projects for kids. For instance, the tree lighting's coming up the Saturday after Thanksgiving. We'll be lighting our holiday tree down in the village. And one of the things that the Arts Alliance does is sets up a whole bunch of tables for kids to come and do art, make ornaments that they can bring home to their tree, or some kind of ornament they can hang someplace down in the square to help liven up and make the place kind of look kind of cool. So I want to make sure that we let the Rosendale Arts Alliance know that we here at BNN really appreciate everything that they do and all of the contributions and all of the activities that they bring to our citizens around the area, not just in Rosendale, but we reach out all around the area. One of the other things that we have to talk about before we get to we have a great show tonight too, by the way. I keep forgetting to tell you that. We're going to have some great guests here. We've got some great art to look at. We've got another educational opportunity to look at, and there's some great things going on in humanities and music we're going to get a chance to talk about. So you know that's coming up in just a few minutes. So, but I do have to thank and say how much I appreciate our people who keep us on the air here. Boston Main Streets. Boston Main Streets is an organization that helps redevelop the business districts in certain segments of the city around Boston, and now nationally, all over the country. And what they do is they help develop, help property owners get the right business downstairs. They help the businesses, once they moved in downstairs, to look just as cool as they can possibly look. And they also run events in the squares, like the farmers markets and the concerts and the holiday strolls and all these concerts and stuff that we put on down the square to bring people down into the business district so they can discover the different things that are there available to them. So I want to thank Main Streets. We're very, very appreciative of everything that they do for us. Starting very, very soon, we're going to be having the managers from the different Main Streets programs around Boston. There's 19 of them in the city that are going to come and spend about 5 or 10 minutes of the program with us to sit and talk about what's going on in their part of the community. So we look forward to being able to do that. So we appreciate Main Streets, what they do. One of the other things I want to talk about very, very quickly is this building that I'm in, this incredible building that we get an opportunity to share what we're doing with you every week. BNN is an opportunity for, there's several things that happen here. One of the great things that happens here is that students in the area get to be interns here. Right now, we've got 4 interns in the studio here that are running the show. They are at the board, they are at the cameras, and they are getting hands-on practice at doing live TV. You don't get more involved and you don't get more experience than actually doing it. So for instance, if I fell off of this chair right now, see, she knows what that is, she got me. So we're very appreciative of that. And that's a big part of our programming here, that we do get the kids from Northeastern and some of the other area community colleges in the area and internationally to come here and spend some time with us and learn a little bit about live TV. Another thing that BNN is doing is if you have a nonprofit, let's say that you have an organization that is a nonprofit that wants to get their message out and let the world know what's going on with your mission statement and the kind of things that you're doing to try and improve your community, this is the place to do it. You'd come here and you'd come to BNN-TV.org and you'd find Jim Atwood's name and get in contact with him and say, hey, Jim, I've got a great organization of nonprofit that wants to come and talk about what we're doing and have our guests on there and get a chance to get our message out to the community. This is the place to do that. There's another segment we do. We also have a membership where people become members and they come and they take Final Cut Pro, they come and take lighting courses, they come and take sound courses, they learn how to use these fantastic cameras. They do field production, they take all of these classes, and what they do is they get to make their own television program. And guess what? And then show it here on BNN. So if you think that's something you might be interested in doing, please go to www.bnntv.org and click on Jim Atwood's name. Get all the information you need from him about becoming a member here at BNN, about taking some fantastic courses, about getting a nonprofit here. And if you're a student someplace and you would want to possibly do an internship here, you find all the information about how to do that at bnntv.org. Okay, that's about it for me. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a break, play a couple of songs from the old vault, the Low Budget Records vault. We're going to bring up our first guest, and we're going to chat for a little while, and we're going to talk about a great college just a few miles down the road from here, and about their humanities and their music department. So listen, gang, don't go away. My name is Glenn Williams. You've been watching BNN TV's It's All About Arts, coming to you live from Studio B, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Do not go away. Thanks.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Different views. society. I lost my soul to rock and roll. 'Cause rock and roll will set you free. Hey, hey, rock and roll. Hey, hey, rock and roll. Hey, hey, rock and roll. Hey, hey, rock and
Well, thanks for hanging in there with us, gang, and welcome back to BNN-TV's It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams, and we are coming to you live from our beautiful studios here at BNN-TV. We're more than welcome for you to join us. Give us a call, 617-708-3290, the magic 4 numbers, to get right here to the set, to ask us any questions you'd like to talk to us about. And right now, it's my great pleasure and honor to introduce you to Jane Fiske. Hello. How are you?
Hi, fine, thank you.
Welcome to the studio.
Thank you for inviting me.
No, I'm very happy that you're here, and thanks for coming in. You had to travel just a little bit to get here.
Not that far. Fitchburg State's about, I'd say about 75 miles west. That's not too bad. I went to school in Boston, so
Oh, you did?
I'm used to the route. I'm from Western Mass, so.
Where did you study here in Boston?
I first came to Boston studying at New England Conservatory for a bachelor's and master's. And then I came back and went to Boston University. So I'm familiar with the route.
Oh, well, that's great. You are a professor of humanities and music?
Yes.
At Fitchburg State?
At Fitchburg, yes.
How long have you been there doing that?
I started there in 1983.
Oh, okay.
And my first class was canceled.
Why?
So I walked in due to lack of enrollment. So there was no one there. They canceled the class. And I didn't come back again until 1986. They offered the same class again, and it was successful that time. And then I started teaching part-time, and I filled in for someone on sabbatical, and eventually did the tenure track.
Now you're,
So I've
now
been
you're
there.
there.
Yeah, I've been
You're
there
there.
forever.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about what humanities in music. Well, I get the music part. Some people might not quite understand the humanities part. Can you explain it to us a little bit, please?
Well, at Fitchburg State, we do not have a music major.
Oh.
We have a minor in music. But some of our major programs are communication, media, nursing, education, criminal justice. But our college does not have the music major. We, in our department, have music, art, philosophy, and foreign languages, all under the one umbrella called Humanities.
Okay.
Many colleges do different combinations. It's just those happen to be the ones that we have. So the students that our department serves are students that are taking music in the liberal arts setting. And in the 60 credits you have to have in your liberal arts program, music and art is a requirement. So they can pick either one, and we have really awesome numbers, and the kids are fantastic because a lot of them, it's their first experience with art or music.
Oh, really?
They've never had a class featuring Johann Sebastian Bach or Beethoven and that kind of thing. So it's really a wonderful opportunity for them. So those are some of the history classes we have. We have music theory classes for those that choose to do minor. We have performing organizations, jazz band, concert band, string orchestra, chorus, concert chorale. I think that's it.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a very strong humanities program in that sense. Yes.
Well, that's fantastic. You know,
Yes.
I think what happens is, and the reason why it's part of the liberal arts education is because it exercises a different way of thinking. You know,
Exactly.
it opens up a different kind of an eye. There's a way that you have to kind of figure out music when you're taking theory or composition. There's a way you kind of have to think when you're painting that you don't always use when you're talking about medicine.
Exactly, exactly. So, yeah, that's really the mission of our department, is to provide that type of liberal arts education for our students, and it does give them a window into their own humanity, how to express themselves, and not, you know, it's different than what you would do in science or in math class.
Yeah, it really is.
So,
Go ahead.
and we, in one of the courses that most of the kids take, we start from the Middle Ages and go through contemporary time, and they view society and history through the arts. So, you know, we start with world religions, for example, and they really learn about the different symbolism for the different religions through the music and through the art and architecture as well.
Right.
So,
Where did you study? And it's music is your humanity,
yes,
right?
that's my field. Well, I'm originally from a little town called Athol, Athol.
I know where Athol
You know where
is,
Athol is.
yes.
Okay, so that's where I'm originally from, and went into Boston for lessons as a high school student, and landed at New England Conservatory for 6 years
Wow.
with, might as well say his name, Gabriel Chodos, at Conservatory. And then I taught here in Boston at the Community Music Center, which I think is on Warren Street, still in existence.
Oh, you a banjo player? Is that what you're
Oh yeah,
saying?
banjo is my thing. No, pianist.
You're a
Yes,
pianist,
yes.
yes.
And so that was at New England Conservatory. Then I taught at Walnut Hill School for the Performing Arts,
Oh,
Community
great.
Music Center, and finally decided I needed to go back to school. It's nothing like being out working to realize how much you don't know, and you go
That
back
is
to
so
school.
true. That is so true.
So that's what I did, and I started studying with a woman by the name of Maria Clotis at Boston University, and did my doctoral studies with her.
Well, congratulations. That's fantastic. It's a great story. It's a great road. It is.
Thank you.
I think it's
Thank
fabulous.
you.
And to end up with tenure at a great, you know, learning establishment like Fitchburg is fantastic. What's the student body? What's the size of the students?
We
How many
have total, including graduate and off-site programs, we have about 6,000 students, but undergraduate, probably around 3,500.
Now, let's talk a little bit about, I mean, you said something very interesting, that some of the kids that are taking some of your classes, or even within the humanities, it's some of their first experience in a, I'm not sure if a still life class is what we're talking about, or if we're talking about general, you know, music knowledge or history. Are you finding that high schools aren't sending kids with enough, I don't want to put you on the spot here,
No,
but
no, that's fine.
you know, are not sending our kids to secondary educational places with enough knowledge of the arts and humanities and music, theater, dance, music? I mean, is that happening?
Well, there's 2 points. The first point being, a lot of the students at our school have not had the exposure, and I can talk a little bit more about that. But first and foremost, at Fitchburg State, a lot of these students are first-generation college students.
Oh, really?
And so that's very exciting as a teacher, because they're excited to be there. Their family is proud to have them there. It's a really wonderful experience for them. Many of them are working and going to school and trying to help support mom and dad, and doing, you know, all kinds of personal sacrifices that you see going on within you know, their day-to-day routine. So that's a little bit of a profile of the student at Fitchburg State. Secondly, in terms of the arts background, there have been tremendous cuts, as you probably know, in any school system.
I'm just, where did you think I was going?
Yeah, and so that's really of great concern, that you can have someone as a college student, a young adult, and not have had anything beyond maybe a few songs in school
Yeah.
that they would sing, you know, maybe once or twice a week, and
Right.
not to have learned an instrument. And so we do get a lot of students that are joining class guitar, class piano, class voice, and picking up skills that perhaps they should have had at some point. There's a research project that I was involved with last year, with Dr. Spiro, Josh Spiro, who runs a newly formed research institute at our school called the Regional Economic Development Institute. And what we did, I had 3 interns working with me, was to look at reviving the economy through the arts, so a creative economy. And they're doing it at various other schools as well. But with this project, each student had a particular area. And I'll take my first student, Eric, because he did a whole research paper on the educational aspects of the arts, and everywhere from Aristotle to John Dewey. He looked at the philosophy behind arts education, and he tackled that. He went on, and then we did a survey for our own Montechusett region to all the businesses in the community, and asked, if they had a chance to revive their business or to revive, I guess is the best word, would they consider doing it through the arts? And absolutely yes. They didn't even know this existed. So I think there's a lot of education.
That's an interesting response, that they would definitely yes.
Definitely yes. Didn't know that they could do things like that, using the arts to get their message out. So we were looking at it in terms of increasing the economic opportunities. So that's kind of a business piece. We had a second intern, Amanda, who looked at the business aspect as well. She was a business major. She graduated last year. But she also looked at a program that's is quite popular. You probably know it, the El Sistema program. The housing of that is at the New England Conservatory, at least for this country. But it was founded by Dr. Abreu, a Venezuelan, who looked at having the arts at every stage of a child's education, because that is going to do a number of things for their self-esteem, for their ability to have meaning and purpose, and found that educationally they always did extremely well. They're involved in this program. And his program started off, it was in the 70s, and it started off just in a little back room. But he provided instruments for every child, violins. And their grades went up. The mischief that kids get into after school, sort of vanished. They had their instrument to practice. It's a phenomenal program.
Yeah.
And
it's so true today. I mean, I'm very, very fortunate to be teaching in an elementary school that allows me to take from K0, 3-year-olds, with what's a secondary color, to the 8th grade, where kids are actually preparing pieces for presentation in major
fantastic.
things. And every kid is growing in the school with an hour of art every week. And there's a lot of places that aren't doing that, and it is so true how it changes the way some of our students think of themselves. And I think if you have that eureka, what I did, and have that, well, I did that, I like it, and someone else likes it too, it turns the page and flicks a switch someplace in them where they say, this can't be that hard either. 2 + 2 is 4, or whatever,
right.
And it just makes the attitude is what changes in them.
Right, and that's important, and I think sometimes when the arts are presented to school boards, et cetera, we say, do it because it's going to make your math and your science better. Yeah. But yeah, it does that, but it also provides self-esteem, it provides meaning for why we're here.
Better.
Exactly,
yeah.
But in and of itself, too, art for art's sake, I think is really important. That there are multiple reasons why we do it, but in essence, we do it for our own humanity. It's the way we express ourselves. Who's going to remember, what we had for algebra classes, in the time capsule? They're going to remember what we wear, what music we listen to. Those are the things that really define a civilization. Sure. So I think it's so important that the education is there for students. Right. And lastly, the third intern that we had at Fitchburg State looked at arts from a therapeutic point of view. She was doing an interdisciplinary program with nursing and art and sociology. And she went into, her clients were basically mentally disabled individuals that, and I know your next guest is going to talk a lot about art, but my student did a lot with taking Play-Doh and having students that perhaps will never get beyond the 5th grade, 5-year-old age, and they're adults.
Right.
But yet they were manipulating the clay to create self-portraits. And the feeling of self-esteem that that gave them to
Right.
create and to identify with something was really valuable.
Yeah, don't not call that art, though. Don't think that it's not. I consider therapeutic art and as enriching and as powerful as any abstract mess I make, or any song that's written, or any ballet that's done, because of that self-esteem, because of that inner
Right.
growth and that inner thing that happens
Absolutely.
to people. You know,
Absolutely.
art is so strong. It's just all aspects of art. It's just so strong. People don't realize how much of an international language it is, and people don't give it as much credit. Unfortunately, some of the people that don't give it as much credit, here I go, are people who are controlling the way we educate our kids, and that's scary.
Right.
Scary. You know, it's either football or this. Well, yeah, you can take music half the year, and the other half you can take. That doesn't make any sense to me. So I just feel happy that I'm in an environment where, as you are, where you're using art to the biggest, the most of its
Right.
ability, and really kind of doing it up.
Exactly.
What kind of music do you play?
What kind do I play? I'm basically a classical pianist, and
Okay.
I have 2 CDs that I recorded featuring the works of Debussy and Messiaen, Clara Schumann, because my dissertation for my doctoral study was on women in music. So I have some women in music on the CDs.
Where can people get that CD?
I would be happy to...
iTunes or Rhapsody or any of those?
Well, the thing is, it's available through the college or
Okay.
university,
Yeah.
mainly because it's a fundraiser. All of the proceeds go... Can I say that?
Of course.
Okay. It is a fundraiser. All the proceeds go into a fund that we established for music lessons, because one of the biggest things that we face in terms of education is funding, and a lot of kids will come in and say, well, gee, I want to go take piano lessons or violin lessons or whatever, and they're expensive.
Yes.
They are very expensive. So we have this fund that we do support at least 2 or 3 students every semester so that they can continue with their private lesson instruction, because we're finding in our ensembles that sometimes they would get worse instead of better if the students weren't in lessons because they just weren't improving.
That makes sense to you and I.
I mean, I know that probably sounds a little odd that.
Boy, I
however,
start taking my
right.
lessons. I don't practice anymore, but I don't play as well anymore
Well,
either.
and of course, then people would look and how come your ensembles are not, flourishing and so forth.
you took the lessons
you don't,
away,
You
yeah.
don't have the lessons in there, man. You can't get any
right.
better. So,
Got any gigs coming up we should know about?
let's see. I have
Jordan
another.
Hall thing coming up or anything?
Nothing in Jordan Hall. I do have a couple of things. I'm on sabbatical this semester, and so part of my sabbatical project is a concert that I'm preparing with our string orchestra.
Oh, that's great.
And I'm doing a piece by Gerald Finzi. It's for strings and orchestra, string, orchestra, and piano, called Ecologue. And so I'm in rehearsal with my string group.
Is there a website people can go to find out where they can catch up with you? I mean,
Sure, I will have all of this posted on my faculty profile at the college.
So if they go to the college and
Yeah,
look you up,
yeah,
and that's where everything will be?
absolutely. Yes.
Jane,
So-
thank you so much for coming in.
You're
I
welcome.
really
Thank
do
you for
appreciate
asking
it.
me.
Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much.
Okay.
I want to get a copy. I want a CD.
Okay.
I started out classically, upright bass.
Excellent.
But I
Okay.
decided I wanted to be the only bass player. So
Well,
Over
there
to
are
Berkeley.
too many
Over to
pianists.
not enough good ones, believe me. Well, listen, gang, hang in there. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. We have our next guest. Don't go away. It's only half the show. We've got lots more coming up. We'll be back in just a minute. You are watching BNN-TV's It's All About Arts. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Don't go away. Thanks. Well, welcome back, gang. Thank you for hanging in there with us. That was a quick trip through a big city, very busy place. You're watching It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams, and I'm your host. And if you want to give us a call and join us, you can. It's 617-708-3290. Give us a call. Let us know what's going on interesting and artfully in your community. We'd love to hear all about it. But right now, it's my great pleasure and honor to introduce you to Ann Silver. Hello.
Hi.
How are you? Silber.
Silber, actually.
How
Yes.
are you?
Good, thank you.
Welcome to the studio.
Thanks
How's
for having
everything?
me. Great.
You are an artist.
I am.
What's your medium?
I do hand-printed limited edition serigraphs, which are hand-printed silkscreen prints, but they're original and handmade by me in small editions, small quantity.
So a silkscreen that's an original.
Yes, it's the original medium. They're not copies of anything. They're not,
No,
created
your
as a
design.
painting. Yes, my
your
design,
creative eye.
hand-printed by my callous little hands.
Yeah.
And there are multiples, but in small editions, like average maybe 50 per
Yeah.
image, something like that.
How long have you been doing that kind of artwork?
I hate to tell you, a very, very long time.
Well, a very, very
Since-
long time is a
since
good
the
one.
70s, since I was
Really?
in college, yeah, that's where
Were
I
you doing
started.
silkscreen T-shirts and
Nope,
stuff back
nope,
then?
just fine art,
Okay, I'm
just
sorry.
fine art,
So it's
silkscreen.
always been fine art.
Yeah, and
Well,
that's
that's
my
great.
exclusive medium that I chose since working.
What size do you get to work in? Does it get to be large? Or?
Well, the largest that I print are maybe like that big, sheet size, maybe 26 inches by 40, but a lot of them are kind of medium sized.
Tell us a little bit of the process, please.
Sure.
How do you go through? What do you got to do?
Well, first, when I get the inspiration, I make a master sketch, which is just like a diagram in pencil. It's not something you'd want to frame and hang. And then I hand cut a stencil based on that sketch for every color that I'm going to be printing. So there might be 10 or 15 or 18 stencils, each one separating out a separate color.
Wow.
So, and then I adhere the stencil to a silk screen, which it's not silk, but it's fabric stretched taut on a frame. And so it leaves the open mesh where you want the ink to go through. So when you put a sheet of paper underneath and put the screen down, you pull the ink across with a squeegee, and it prints the areas you've cut on the stencil. So if I'm making 50 of them, I print them all with the first color.
You do all the blues, get
Yes,
them over
let them
with.
dry, change, clean off the screen, change the stencil, print them all with a second color.
Now, what were they
and
being
on and
printed
on.
on again? Silks, you're saying?
No, they're printed on paper.
On paper. What
Yeah.
kind of paper are you using?
Well, it's a special printmaking paper. It's
Printmaking?
100% rag. It's a nice quality art paper. That's good for this medium.
That's great. No bleeding.
Uh,
You know what I mean?
only when it's going really bad.
Only
like-
when things go crazy.
Yeah, right.
No, but you know what I mean. No, you want to
Yeah,
keep everything
yes,
nice and
like
neat.
nice crisp edges, which hopefully you'll see in some
Yeah,
images that we'll show.
in a couple of minutes,
Yeah,
we're going to be
yeah.
taking a look at some beautiful pieces. But so, how many pieces can you work on at once? I mean, do you have many different screens to work with?
Well, I do them sequentially. So for me, it's like step A to B, C, D. I only work on one project, start to finish. It's like I print them all with the first stencil, destroy the stencil, put the next one on, print them all with a second stencil, and on, each time adding a layer of color until it's complete.
Well, you must by this time gotten, and not to put a time limit on, but you must be getting to where you don't have to go through it and see how it's going to come out. Is your eye now?
Well, I think I usually know what to expect. I
getting
have an
pretty
idea
close,
of how it should look, and I work with a lot of transparent base in my inks to thin them down so they almost look like watercolors. But so I've learned over the years, what way I have to layer them to get the result I want. Because like putting color A over color B will look different than the reverse order. So
Now, do you wait until your inks are dry? Because a blue and a red are going to make purple if they come in contact.
They have to dry before you print the next color, because or else it would lift off onto the screen.
Oh, make a mess.
The wet ink. But visually, I know how they'll blend. So like watercolors, if I have a blue down and I add sort of a reddish or pinkish tone, it will affect the color underneath.
It will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You've been very successul at this. You've got some beautiful pieces out there.
Thank you.
You've got a kind of a hook to something on the left coast that's going on. I don't know if it's a hook. I don't like that word. You've had some success out in the left coast.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what's going on out in California.
Well, yes, I mean, and elsewhere too. I mean, I've created a market for my work among, in addition to selling to real people, I sell to fictional people as well.
Okay.
In that I've created a market selling my art to TV and film productions for their sets. So my work appears in, fictional homes and hospitals and offices and whatever.
Now, I'm going to be
So you-
completely stupid here and ask this question. Is the success because of the kind of art it is? Does it film easy? I don't know.
Well, I guess that
It's
hard
obviously
to-
because it's beautiful
I mean,
and nice.
Thank you. And I guess that, that probably is a factor. I'm guessing all artwork does not film equally well. And I think just that happily my work seems to lend itself to a lot of different kinds of interiors. So they have to create all kinds of characters and settings in film and TV. And so I think, my work, works well for, is it residential, for hospitals, for a lot of different kinds of sets that have to look like real people live or work there.
Now, how do you get into that? Is there a market? Is there some place where you'll go and they're actually cattle calling for a piece of art, or is it something you just send and they just get to
do
pay?
a lot of marketing of
You
my
do it
work.
yourself?
I make a lot of phone calls. I do go out to LA. It used to be maybe 2 or 3 times a year, now maybe once or twice a year. And I spend a lot of time calling and emailing and adding to my Rolodex of contacts and keeping in touch when I see that new projects are happening. So,
Now, when you see that there's a new project happening, are you able to go in and try and do something that you think is going to fit into that, or will you go to your library and go, Fox is looking for something like this?
well, actually, a lot of times it's I'll send them to my website where there's over 100 of my works that they can see, almost like a catalog, to see what works for
And
them.
that website is?
It is www.annsilber.com, and that's Ann with an E, and Silber with a B,
Yes.
as in boy, ER.com.
That's pretty handy.
Yeah, no,
It's nice to
great.
be able to snare that one.
In the old days, I used to have to send slides back and forth,
Oh.
which was expensive and took forever, and sometimes you got them back and sometimes you didn't.
Well, yes, I know that. Let's take a look at some of your work. We've got 5 or 6 pieces to look at. Let's see, this is, okay?
Still life. I've included both still lifes and landscapes. And you can see the transparency, like it's fun for me to try and recreate glass, or, reflective
That's really,
surfaces.
that is cool.
Shadows, so that's kind of a fun challenge to me to make it really read as 3-dimensional and reflective.
That's pretty cool.
And,
Okay, next piece.
and that's another also,
Have any of these
flower in a glass
showed
house.
up on anything that we maybe? This is beautiful.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I know that I can remember one of the shows that I've actually sold this to was Show House, I think. It's
really?
somewhere in their hospital, I suppose, yeah.
What size is this piece?
Well, that piece, the sheet size, which includes a little image, margin around it, I think is about 25 by 38 inches,
Oh, it's a
something
good
like that.
size.
So that's getting towards the larger end of what I do.
Nice.
And thank you. That's another still life. Again, trying to get the feeling of the reflective porcelain inside on the bowls.
Very nice.
And let's see what else we got.
What else do we have here?
Yeah, there's
I like this.
Autumn landscape, which is a local scene. I do some New England-inspired landscapes and some. I love to travel.
Do you work from photography, or will you plein air this stuff?
No, I don't work fast enough to do it plein air. So I take photographs and then sketch from my photos. But I've also been very lucky to travel
I was talking
internationally.
the sketch part. I wasn't talking about laying the ink down. But
Yeah, no, and I'm saying the sketch too. The
Really?
light changes,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't work that quickly.
those
so-
guys are amazing. They can go out there and paint something.
Yeah, no,
real
I'm
life.
not that amazing. I work for my photos.
you
that I
are.
take. That's in Nice, France. Little street that I just love the juxtaposed colored buildings there, and I've been to a lot of really wonderful places around the world, and I love France in particular.
That's very cool.
And that's been in quite a number of films and TV shows. That was on The Departed, the Martin Scorsese
really?
film. It was also on The West Wing and
I
some
love
other
the West Wing.
other series and films have used that.
That's fascinating. Okay, that's really kind of cool.
This is actually in the Fenway. So this is in a local Boston scene.
Are you a Bostonian?
Not by birth, but I've been here for a long time.
You're a Bostonian then.
Yes, my adult life has been in Boston.
Okay.
And I think there's.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Thank you.
Is there one more?
And there's one more, which is actually. Oh no! Whoa.
That's not
No,
it.
no, that's not it.
Oh, there we are. Okay.
No, there's one. I had one in there of actually Jack Nicholson.
You had
of
one
my
with
pieces.
Jack in there.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know
maybe
where that
they'll
went.
find it. We'll see if they can come up
on
with
the
it.
set of the bucket list.
I find it interesting you've done gallery work.
Yeah.
You've got the website where people can
I
go.
work in museum collections as well.
You're in some museum collections.
Yeah.
What kind of museum collections have you?
Actually, the Brooklyn Museum in New York, the Worcester Museum here, the High Museum Atlanta, and several other museums have my work in their collection.
That's fabulous. I'm really interested in that how you get it done thing, because we chatted just for a couple of seconds about how artists have a tough time promoting and pushing their work out there. It's a very difficult thing for people to talk about how good they are, or how they think that their piece is worthy of the price tag they put on it. I like to tell artists that art's only as expensive as people will spend, will pay for it. I just went through an Open Studios thing where there was some amazing art at some amazing prices that didn't sell, and then there were some things that were disappearing off the walls that I just, as an art lover myself, I think all art is beautiful, but I was kind of questioning, well, why wouldn't you, is it a personal thing? What's the tough thing to sell? Why is it so tough for these people to go out and push their work? You obviously do it yourself.
Yeah, I just somewhere along the way I decided it was more in my interest to just kind of learn how to market my work and take more of the control in my own hands. You know, so I think I jokingly say I've given myself an MBA, just kind of like, you know, a seat of the pants. Look, just put your shyness aside, go do it, make phone calls, you know, think creatively in terms of marketing your work as well as creating the work.
Was there a shyness, or was it shyness, or was it, I don't want to give this away, or was it that I'm afraid someone's going to say this stuff's no good?
Well, first of all, I'm lucky in that since I'm making multiples, it's like I don't have to worry about giving it away because I can, sell it here, sell it there, have one for myself, give it away. You know, they're original, but they're not one of a kind.
Right,
so,
right.
You know, no, it just takes a certain kind of, you know, being willing to pick up the phone and approach people. And I mean, hopefully, if you can get your foot in the door, so to speak, your work speaks for itself, and they like it, they don't like it, it's for them, it's not, you know, but it's more like making the contacts and exposing your work. To
and in the industry that you've chosen, not the only industry you've chosen, but in the one that you're moving some work around in, I mean, there's a huge, I saw that. You know, I want that for my film. Where did you get that? That's really cool.
I wish there were more of that, actually. I think the point is that it's supposed to be enough in the background so people are still watching the actors and not, you know, so focused.
No,
on
I'm
the
not
sets.
I'm not talking about us as an audience. I'm
okay.
talking about the people that are doing the films.
Well, I have,
because they're the ones making the decisions.
right, I have built up relationships with some people over the years, and so luckily, sometimes people call me and say, "Oh, I think I could use some of your work in this film or this TV series." I still do a lot of the, you know, the legwork, so to speak, myself.
Oh, sure.
And I don't, you know, I'm not so full of myself. I think that I'm always on their mind, and
No,
you know,
no.
So you still have to make the rounds by phone, and you know,
Keep your name
email
in
people,
there.
send them new images, and keep the marketing going.
Now, the film industry has leaped out of the left California. It's all over the place.
It's all over the place.
Really, really. I mean, they were filming in Rosendale all last summer. I couldn't believe.
Actually, I sold some artwork to the film. I think they're still doing it. The R.I.P.D. film that's been shooting around Boston.
Really?
For the last couple of months. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, but no, there's a lot of filming. Yeah, both in Canada and around the U.S. Both TV and film. So that's why a lot of it is done by website and phone and email. You know, not just going to L.A.
Are you busier producing your work than you are promoting your work?
It's a trade-off. They both take time. You know, I'd love to say, oh no, I'm always in the studio making art, but you know, I spend a lot of time.
You're not running a boutique on the side, too.
A boutique on the side, no, no. But they both, you know, have their place. You have to apportion your time, you know, in a way that seems reasonable to get everything done and wear a lot of hats, basically.
So as a visual artist, you're disciplined enough to be able to say, Thursday afternoons from 3 to 7, I'm producing art. Tuesday mornings, I'm making phone calls.
Well, I do block out time to be in my studio, because I mean, I need a big chunk of the day to make it worth going there and producing work. And it's the thing. You have to wear a lot of hats.
Well, what I'm trying to get to is I'm an abstract painter, and it's when the bus hits me is when I start to produce. I don't have that. I got to go home tonight and work for 2 hours on that piece that I'm working on. It's kind of.
Well, see, in the medium that I'm working on, I mean, I guess a lot of the creative part is up front, where I'm deciding what to do, how to do it, make the sketch, you know, and then. But once I'm actually in the studio, I'm producing them.
Yeah,
I mean, yes, I'm making some judgments and mixing inks and doing things along the way, but I have the sketch already made. So it's not like I'm working on a painting, I'm reworking and adapting, and
Right.
it's really not like that, because at that stage, it's pretty set, and it sort of goes according to plan, and it just takes X number of hours to see it through to the end, to completion.
How long between steps? I mean, once you the blue.
Oh, you mean from one color to the next?
Yeah.
Not very long. I mean, an hour or something like that.
Oh, it's that quick.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's an hour.
But I mean, it's like, it takes, I don't know how many hours to, print, depending on how many I'm printing.
Can you do multiple? Can you have multiples of them going on at once?
No. I do them, I'm working on one color, again, and then putting them aside so they can dry, and then cleaning the screen, changing the stencil. Usually by the time all that's done, they're usually dry enough so I could start the next process on them.
Will you go higher than 50 pieces? 1 of 50?
Well, some of them are 60, 70. I mean that's average,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'd say 50 or 60 on average is about what I produce.
Would you go down lower than that to make them a little more desirable?
I like to think they're pretty desirable.
No.
I mean,
Well, something, I'd be quicker to pick up
'cause-
something that was 1 of 10
Really, huh?
than I would have 1 of 50.
Because I have to say, in the world of limited edition printmaking, a lot of times, especially in commercial printmaking galleries, they say limited edition of like 900 or something, which I don't think is very limited. So
It's not
really,
limited.
anything 100 or under is considered quite small editions in the fine art
Yeah,
print
we're
world.
talking 10 and 50 here.
Yeah. So, I still think that even if it's 60, 70,
Like
whatever,
that
it's still quite
that
limited.
landscape of yours.
Yeah.
The landscape, the linear landscape that looked like
that-
it had the
right,
shadow in
the
the water.
reflection, yeah.
The reflection?
Yeah, I think that's one of 50 or 55.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Well, I understand.
Yeah.
I
With all the
understand
setup,
doing
it
that.
doesn't almost pay to just make 5 or 10 because there's so much setup and materials.
Oh, okay. I didn't think
you
of
know,
that. The materials
since it's
to
a
do
stencil
it.
process. So
Right.
as long as you're printing them, instead of printing just 10, it takes more time. You might as well print 50.
Right.
you know?
Right. Does anyone
It's
ever
still
come
quite
to you and say, "Look, I have this photograph of the old cabin I used to live in"? You don't do any commission
No.
work or anything like that?
No.
It's all creative out of your head.
Yeah, it's all in my head.
Okay.
Yeah, because it just happened to be the medium I use, to express, my
Do
vision.
you do anything else? Do you do any photography? Do you do any
I usually just
watercolors? You mentioned watercolors only because of, I think,
No,
the
I
way
really,
they look.
I would love. I wish I could. I would love someday. I keep telling myself I'm going to really set aside some time to teach myself how to use watercolors. For the time being, I'm just using my materials to give sort of like that look, but they're more controlled than watercolors.
Very, yeah.
But I think watercolor is a very difficult medium. I would love to be able to do
Brown
it well.
paper. I have lots of brown paper at
Yeah.
home because I've tried watercolors in the past.
Yeah.
Very, very.
But for the moment, I'm still just a stubborn printmaker.
No, you're not stubborn. I think it's beautiful the work you're doing, and you're gonna have me sitting at home watching and going, wait a minute, no.
I get calls from friends saying, you know what, I saw your work on. I was just watching, such and such, and there it was.
You've got someone now that's going to do that, kind of see if I can't pick out, an Ann out of
Sort of
there.
become a little hobby for some of my friends and family.
Ann, thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, my pleasure.
Congratulations on your success. Your work is beautiful.
Thank you.
I don't call it a lost art, but I don't think people realize the process that goes into printing, and you've really developed a nice style. It's
Well, thank you so
beautiful.
much.
And,
Thanks for
and I keep
having me.
watching the screens
Oh.
because who knows when one of your screens are
You
going to
just
show
never
up.
know.
Well, listen, gang, thanks an awful lot for being here with us this evening. This was a very interesting show. I really enjoyed this. We always have a lot of fun on Monday nights here with Davey and the gang. I don't know if he likes me calling him Davey, but I'm gonna call him that from now on, anyways. But listen, get out there and do something artful for yourself, okay? Don't forget, December 8th, we're going to be playing down in Rosendale at the Boston Public Library branch of the Rosendale. You know what I mean? The library in Rosie Square. We're going to be playing there, doing our 60s things, the whole gang, Bird Mancini, myself, Mr. Kurt, Tim Casey, Andy Hollinger, and Terry Kitchen. Don't want to forget Terry Kitchen. So listen, gang, thanks an awful lot for being here with us. Listen, like I like to say every week, please, keep in the forefront of your minds our mothers, fathers, sons and daughters, aunts and uncles, nieces and nephews on foreign soil. Please, get out there, do something artful, do it for them. We will dig you next week, okay? Bye-bye, guys. Thanks for being here.